Bella Swan's 17th birthday begins like any other in Forks, Washington, but Edward Cullen has planned something special. He arrives unexpectedly, and the Cullens throw a lavish party in her honor. The air is filled with excitement, laughter, and a sense of love that Bella has always treasured. But beneath the surface, tension lingers. Bella notices the subtle glances from Edward, the almost imperceptible worry in his eyes, and senses that something is weighing heavily on him. During the party, a small mishap occurs that changes everything. Edward notices Bella's minor scrape but overreacts, his face pale and his movements tense. In that instant, Bella's curiosity pushes her toward the truth she had always sensed: Edward's love is deep, but so is his fear. Moments later, a confrontation erupts, and in the chaos, Edward makes a decision that will shatter Bella's world. In a private conversation, Edward tells Bella that he cannot stay with her. His words are deliberate, calm, and final. He insists that leaving her is the only way to protect her from the dangers of his world, from the violence and predatory instincts that define vampires. Bella is devastated, her heart breaking with every word. She begs him to reconsider, to explain further, but Edward's resolve is unshakable. He disappears from Forks, leaving Bella in a whirlwind of grief, confusion, and emptiness. In the weeks that follow, Bella falls into a deep depression. Her world becomes colorless, and her days blend together in monotony and sorrow. She avoids friends and family, withdrawing into herself. The familiar forests of Forks, once comforting, now feel oppressive. The absence of Edward's presence weighs on her constantly. She experiences hallucinations, moments where she swears she hears his voice, or catches glimpses of him in crowds or shadows. These illusions are haunting and relentless, leaving her teetering on the edge of despair. It is during this vulnerable time that Bella begins to strengthen. As the days in Forks stretch on, Bella grows closer to Jacob Black. His presence is a soothing constant amid the storm of her grief. Jacob encourages her to take small steps back into life, fishing at La Push, hiking the familiar trails, and spending quiet evenings talking under the stars. Slowly, she begins to find comfort in his company, though she remains haunted by Edward's absence. Every sound, shadow, and whisper reminds her of him, and she struggles to reconcile her growing friendship with Jacob against the memory of her first love. One afternoon, Bella discovers Jacob's secret. During a routine trip to La Push, she witnesses him demonstrating unnatural strength and speed. Trees snap under his hands, and his senses detect things she cannot even see. Jacob admits the truth: he is part of a Native American tribe that carries the ancient ability to transform into wolves, guardians of their land, and natural enemies of vampires. Bella is both terrified and fascinated. The revelation only deepens her connection with Jacob, though she fears the danger surrounding this new world she has stumbled into. Meanwhile, Edward senses Bella's growing bond with Jacob, and it stirs a potent mix of jealousy and desperation. Through his heightened vampire senses, Edward witnesses her interactions with Jacob and realizes that Bella's life is moving on in ways he cannot fully control. His protective instincts flare, and he begins to intervene indirectly, sending warnings that Bella interprets as coincidences or omens. Every time she faces a near-death experience or engages in reckless behavior, Edward feels a surge of pain that rivals the physical agony of any vampire wound. Bella's reckless tendencies escalate as she experiments with situations that test the limits of her mortality. She drives dangerously fast through the forest roads, climbs cliffs without caution, and engages in risky activities that draw Jacob's concern. Each encounter pushes her closer to a moment of catastrophe. Bella continues to struggle with Edward's absence, feeling the emptiness more acutely with each passing day. Her grief-driven recklessness intensifies, pushing her closer to dangerous extremes. She cliff dives into icy waters, hikes alone through dense forests, and engages in other risky behaviors, all in a subconscious attempt to feel Edward's presence or to tempt fate. Jacob and his wolf pack watch over her constantly, intervening when her actions threaten her life. They warn her repeatedly, but Bella's longing blinds her to the danger. One night, Bella's obsession reaches a critical point. While alone in her bedroom, she cuts her wrists deliberately, hoping to feel Edward through the psychic connection that binds them. The plan is to end her life and reunite with him, unaware that her actions are being monitored. Her consciousness blurs, and she teeters on the edge between life and death. In that moment, the connection between Bella and Edward becomes overwhelming. Edward, thousands of miles away in Italy, perceives her suffering with absolute clarity. Believing she has died, he panics, and his world shatters. Driven by despair, Edward makes a reckless decision. He flies to Volterra, Italy, where the Volturi, the powerful and feared vampire council, reside. He plans to provoke them into ending his existence, believing that death is the only way to be reunited with Bella. Every step he takes toward Volterra is filled with anguish, regret, and the intensity of a love that refuses to die. Meanwhile, Alice Cullen receives Edward's warning and realizes that Bella's life is in imminent danger. She and Jasper rush to Forks to prevent further disaster. Bella's best friend, Alice, experiences a vision that confirms Bella's recklessness and impending danger. She returns to Forks, confronting Bella and attempting to stop her from attempting any further life-threatening stunts. Bella is reluctant but finally begins to understand the consequences of her actions. Despite her greed. With Edward and Bella reunited in Volterra, relief floods both their hearts, but the danger is far from over. The Volturi, powerful and merciless, demand an explanation for Edward's reckless journey and Bella's presence. Alice steps forward, using her clairvoyant abilities to clarify the situation. She shows the Volturi that Bella is human, yet has a unique bond with a vampire that has been both emotional and psychic in nature. The council listens, intrigued but wary, and tension hangs heavy in the air. Bella begins to understand the full weight of her connection to Edward. Their love is profound, but it exists in a world of immortal beings where choices carry life or death consequences. She realizes her actions, though fueled by longing, could have endangered not just herself but everyone she loves. Edward acknowledges the same, his impulsive behavior nearly cost them both everything. Their reconciliation is quiet but profound, a shared understanding that love in their world requires wisdom, patience, and trust. Back in Forks, life slowly returns to normal, though nothing will ever be the same. Jacob Black struggles with his own feelings, torn between friendship, loyalty, and the love he secretly harbors for Bella. He recognizes that Edward will always occupy a central place in her heart. Despite his pain, Jacob accepts the circumstances, understanding that his role is to protect Bella, not possess her. The pack remains vigilant, guarding against vampire threats, and Jacob's leadership solidifies his maturity and strength. The Cullens celebrate Bella's return and her survival, though they remain cautious. Edward and Bella are aware of the ongoing dangers from other vampire factions, but the immediate threat has been neutralized. The experience strengthens their bond and teaches them both lessons about control, impulsiveness, and the depth of their connection. Edward begins to mentor Bella in understanding the vampire world's complexities, while Bella embraces the